Hi everyone, I am Aruna, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Technology, SNS College of Technology. Today I am going to teach you the dependencies and normal form in the database management system. Mainly these both the term can be used in while designing the database. So before entering into the thing, first we're going to discuss about the definition of database management system. Database management system is nothing but a software is nothing but the backend tool or backend software that can be used to enter, manipulate, store, and retrieve the information or data from the database. Here, all the data in the database management system can be stored in the structured manner. And also, this can be used in the all banking sectors and where we can store the data for the future purpose. There and all DBMS concept can be used. So majorly why we are storing in the structured manner is for retrieving the data at a very short amount of time. For that thing, design is a major part. So while designing a database, definitely these two terms can be enabled. One is the dependencies, another one is the normal form. Dependencies is nothing but the one data in the relationship, that is nothing but an attribute in the relationship is depend on the another attribute that can be deals with the dependencies. Normal form is nothing but the how we can reduce the return data in the particular relation or a table, because there is a multiple tuple entries or a multiple attributes entries are available in the data that available in the relation or a table that can be eliminated by using the normal form. So first we're going to see about the dependencies. Dependencies is nothing but a relation between one or more attributes. It can be classified into 5 types, that is a functionally dependent, fully functional dependencies, transitivity dependencies, multi-value dependencies, and partial dependencies. Functional dependencies. So if the information stored in the table or a relation can uniquely determine the another information in the same table, then we can call it as a functionally dependent. Consider it is an example, association between two attributes in the same relation, we can call it as a functionally dependence. P functionally determines the value of Q, then we can call it as this is a functionally dependent. For example, a table can contain employee ID, employee name, and employee age. So by using an employee name, it functionally dependent on employee ID, because employee name can take only one value in the given table by using an ID. For example, I am call out the ID of employee ID 01. Only one person can be available in that particular table. So only we can call it as this is functionally dependent. So the next concept is a fully functional dependencies. It is an attribute on another attribute, fully on the another attribute. So that is, if it is a functionally dependent on another attribute or not on any proper subset, then we can call it as a fully functional dependencies. For example, we are in a table, we are having the project cost as well as the employee project. In your employee project, it will have employee ID, project ID, and days. Here in the above relation states that by using an employee ID, project ID, project cost, through that I can able to identify the how many number of days that can be based for completing that particular project that can be identified, means we can call it as that this is a fully functionally dependence. The next one is the transitivity dependency. Transitivity dependencies is nothing but the indirect dependencies. For example, I am having a three or more attribute in a particular table. For example, we're going to consider P, Q, and R. So if P fully functionally, P can determine the value of Q and Q can determine the value of R, then we can say P is indirectly can determine the value of R. This can be called it as a transitive dependencies. Multi-value dependency means when existence of one or more rows in a table that implies one or more other rows in the same table, then we can call it as a functionally dependent. For example, if a table has an attribute P, Q, and R, P, Q, and R, then Q and R are the multi-valued facts for the attribute P. This is called as a multi-value dependency. Next one is a partially dependencies. Partially dependencies can be majorly used in the Boy's code normal form. Boy's code normal form as well as 2NF, that is the second normal form. For eliminating the partial dependencies, that we can use this particular concept. So this dependencies occurs when a non-prime attribute is functionally dependent on the part of the candidate key, then we can call it as a partially dependency. It is majorly used in the 2NF for removing the partial dependencies in the particular table. For example, here we can consider one student project table. It can contain the student ID, project number, student name, and the project name. So in above table, how we can identify the partial dependencies? Is there any tuples can contain partial dependencies based on the prime number? So here the prime number is nothing but the prime number. That is nothing but the primary key. So here primary key is nothing but the student ID and the project number. So as we started with the non-prime attribute, that is a primary key. Student name and the project name should be functionally dependent on the candidate. These both can be a candidate key. So the student name can be determined the student ID, that makes the relation partially dependent. So the project name can be determined the project ID, which is the partially dependent. So these are the partial dependencies. So that's all about the dependency. Next, we're going to see about the normal form. So majorly normal form is nothing but the normalization. Normalization is the reducing the redundant data present in the relation or a set of relation. And also how the redundancy can be occur means while inserting, deleting, and updating the tuples in the particular relation or a table, definitely redundancy can be occur. So because we couldn't able to identify the redundant data because it will have a n number of data entries or n number of tuples present in the particular database. Through that, it is very difficult to identify the data. For that only we are going for the normalization. So normalization can be classified into 5 types. That is the first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, Boy's code normal form, and the fifth normal form. So through this 5 different types of a method, we can able to eliminate the redundant data present in the particular relation. So in that's all about the basic definition of the dependencies and the normal form. So in my next video, I'm going to give the detailed about the functional dependencies and what are the canonical forms, canonical covers occur, as well as the how we can calculate the super key and the candidate key. These and all we're going to see it in the next video. Thank you.